You see the little shit going. That's a video. Top of the morning, fight fans. This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News, and I have some new news concerning Anthony Joshua. Anthony Joshua was asked who would he love to fight, go throw down with in a brawl, in a fantasy matchup, and he replied, Lennox Lewis. He said, Lennox Lewis at Wembley Stadium, that would be awesome. The best of Britain. Wow. Now, I know these guys had their history, right? And I don't know if that was one of the reasons, because a lot of things can fuel a fighter to do certain things. But I think a fight between Lennox Lewis and Anthony Joshua would be pretty interesting. Simply because these are two big guys, right? We've seen Lennox Lewis in there with big guys. We've seen Anthony Joshua in there with Vladimir Klitschko, which was a pretty big guy, I edge it to Lennox Lewis simply because I think he's faster. He's way more skilled. But Anthony Joshua is a guy that just won't back down. I mean, if you fight Anthony Joshua, you're going to have to knock him out. And the problem is you could get knocked out because if you look at left hook for left hook, I see Anthony Joshua having a better left hook than Lennox Lewis, but Lennox Lewis has a faster left hook because he throws it in combinations, okay? He has very good combinations for a big guy. Now, the problem with Lennox Lewis, he's one of those guys that every so often, lightning will strike, and somebody can put him out. Done. Hassan Rahman did it. McCall did it first. But if he's in a fight, he can take massive punches, but that does slow him down eventually. I was just watching the Vitali fight, which I'm going to be another Counterpunch Classics live, so stay tuned for that because that was a ripped fight. But I noticed he took a lot of punches in that fight, but he still laid his on and he didn't give up either. So a guy like Anthony Joshua going head up with Lennox Lewis, that would be a very good fight. Because, see, Lennox Lewis is not fighting a Mike Tyson over the hill. He's not fighting a smaller Evander Holyfield. Okay, so the advantages would probably be speed. And I'm not really convinced on power. This is not a Hassan Rahman. Anthony Joshua's not a one-trick pony or a guy that got lucky from one right hand. Okay, there's nothing like that. He's a guy that's going to go in there and bang it out. So it will be, I see a fight between Lennox Lewis and Anthony Joshua being similar to Anthony Joshua and Vladimir Klitschko. Because it won't be just this one-sided beatdown of a fighter. I don't see Lennox that over-skilled. I think he's more skilled, but I don't think I see a fight where he's just going to beat the piss out of Anthony Joshua. No. There's going to be multiple knockdowns in that fight. And see, the problem with Lennox Lewis, if Lennox Lewis, if he goes down, he's pretty much down for the count. He reminds me of Mike Tyson's Punch-Out. I think it was King Hippo, right? I think I'm pronouncing that right. But he was the guy, you got to hit him in the stomach, right? And after you hit him in the stomach, he goes down and he stays down. That's Lennox Lewis. Lennox Lewis, he gets caught, he gets hurt, he's down. Right? He's done. He'll be all over. He'll get up, don't know where he's at, But for speed, size, they're about the same. They're about the same size. Even though Anthony Joshua has slimmed down some, I think he's going back to his weight. But I think Lennox Lewis gradually acclimated to a bigger size, and it worked for him because I think it was natural. I think he got bigger as he got a little older, you could tell it didn't affect him where he was tired, where he was gassed, like Joshua was in the Ruiz fight. So it's one of those things where Lennox Lewis, weight could actually help him because the way he gained that weight. He didn't get bulked up and stuff. No. It just gradually, it was a gradual cycle that he gained weight here, 5 pounds, another 5 pounds, another 5 pounds. Because he was a thin guy too, He was pretty lean, coming into the fight game, starting his career. But as far as jabs, I see Lennox Lewis throwing the jab. And then I think the reason why I favor Lewis, because Lewis, that jab you couldn't beat. He pinpointed that jab. You know what I mean? It would reach his target, but then he would put the combinations behind it. So not only does he know and pinpoint where your head's going to be with the jab, he's going to punch. He's going to hook off the jab. He's going to throw the right hand off the jab. He's going to throw an uppercut off the jab. He was very good at that. And coming from a fighter like Anthony Joshua does know how to fight off the back foot. I'm just interested to see what Joshua does in the next fight. Okay? Because beating Andy Ruiz wasn't good enough because Andy Ruiz didn't adapt to the game plan in Anthony Joshua. He didn't pressure him to see really where he was. He was poised, he was controlled, but then he wasn't pushed. So fighting someone like Lennox Lewis that's going to do that, he's going to want to catch you at the end of that right hand. He's not going to play with you. Lennox Lewis is a guy that I didn't like him as a heavyweight, but I respected him because I knew what he could do. He beat Tua. He beat Tyson. He beat Holyfield. He beat these guys. He beat a lot of these guys. He beat Klitschko, which, I think, to me, that kind of tarnished his legacy. But, I digress. But, no. But you got two guys that knows how to box that are big men. And one thing that helps Joshua is no Michael Grant. Okay? Michael Grant had the wrong game plan. He thought he was going to run over there like a crazy ass barbarian. Now here comes Lennox. Knocks him out in 2 rounds. Didn't last long. He came in with the wrong game plan. That will not be Anthony Joshua. Now, does Joshua have a tendency to punch himself out? Sure he does. He did it in the Klitschko fight. Klitschko wasn't done because he's down on the ground. Oh, no. But here's the thing. Again, Lennox Lewis may be that one. You get him hurt, he might be out for the count. And this is based off his career because we saw all of his fights. We ain't saw all of Anthony Joshua fights yet. Based on the Joshua that we have right now, that's the only thing we can go on. Well, how he fights now in his previous fights, because he may come back or revert back to the style that he's accustomed to. So it is what it is. Maybe less the weight. Maybe he might have learned, you know what, it's not, I can still punch. I can still do my thing, being about 11, 12 pounds lighter, right? But it would be a fantastic fight. I think Lennox Lewis, if he can hurt Joshua, he's a better finisher than Joshua. Okay? But if he can't and he gets hurt, he might be out for the count. That may not be. Because see, when Lennox Lewis, you've seen Lennox Lewis kind of dazed in punches in fights, and he can take some shots, but it's that money again. He can be put down, people. You ever seen a tree falling? That's what Lennox Lewis looks like when he's falling from a punch. Right? But anyway, it does look interesting to hear Anthony Joshua call out Lennox Lewis in a fantasy match. I just wonder if there's still any type of animosity. He's a clown. Lennox Lewis is a clown. I just wonder if that's still there. That's because that was the first thing I thought of. He picked Lennox Lewis of all people. Not Muhammad Ali, not Archie Moore, not Larry Holmes, not Evander Holyfield, not Mike Tyson, but Lennox Lewis. But best of Britain, so He does it not acknowledge Lennox Lewis, one of the Britain's best fighters. So anyway, it would be fun. You guys tell me what you think about this fight. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been counterpunched. Peace.